Not gonna lie to you guys, this movie could land on one of two sides of Seth MacFarlane's track record. Let's hope for the good one. Ted 2. So Ted 2 is the continuing adventures of John and Ted. Ted being the talking teddy bear, John being his best friend who wished him to life as a kid, played by Mark Wahlberg. Generally speaking, simplistically put, the government no longer sees Ted as a person. He is now an object. He's property. He's a toy. So now they need to fight the man and get his rights back. That's pretty much the gist. Now you saw it in Ted 1, it still sticks in Ted 2. Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane have great chemistry as Ted and John. They have their back and forth, they have their ad-libbing. It works really well in these Ted movies. It's one of those things where you look at, even if you hate it, even if you think this movie's a piece of shit, you can at least be like, yeah, they have great chemistry. And this movie had some chuckles, some laugh out loud moments. There were a couple of moments where I was like, that was great. Some cameos, some work, some I'm like, you're relying so much on cameos. But one's really fucking cool. Not gonna lie to you on that shit. Amanda Seyfried's in this movie. She's the lawyer helping him out, and you know there's gonna be some love interest thing going on between her and Mark Wahlberg because Mila Kunis is now gone. They wrote her, she's gone now. Which pretty much renders Ted 1 obsolete. It just doesn't matter. She was good in this movie. She fit well in their friend circle. They made a good trio. But when the jokes fall flat in this movie, they do kind of fall really flat. What I mean by that is this movie ultimately suffers from laziness. I call it sequelitis. Sequelitis is a very common condition among sequels where they kind of do the same shit as the first movie. That or they throw in lazy ass jokes. They're like, yeah, well, all right, we don't need brainstorming. Here's a movie spoof. And movie spoofs are fine. I think movie spoofs are great. They make me laugh. But when your spoof is ultimately the identical scene from the movie and the scene you're spoofing, it ultimately feels like ripping it off. Seriously, they do that shit with Jurassic Park in this movie and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Funny thing, the scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that they spoof in this movie, they actually spoofed in Family Guy. I guess Seth MacFarlane loves that scene. And keeping with the symptoms of sequelitis, Giovanni Ribisi's in this movie to ultimately play out the same scene he did in Ted 1. Different coat of paint, but ultimately the same shit happening. When I go to a comedy, I go to laugh. I love to laugh. It is literally my favorite thing in life. So when a movie makes me laugh, that's a win. When a movie makes me laugh really hard, big win. This movie does both, but it also does that third thing that comedies sometimes do where there's long stretches of nothing really happening that makes me laugh at all. So rather than laughing, you're concentrating on the plot of the movie and you're like, is anything cohesive happening right now? The movie literally goes from we want to have kids to I'm not a person anymore to a court case to a road trip. This shit goes everywhere, and at a point you pull back and you're like, this has the cohesive stitching of WarioWare. If you're a huge Seth MacFarlane fan, this is a win for you. Way better than A Million Ways to Die in the West. I can tell you that right now. In the end, I will say Ted 2, pretty fun time. If you're drunk. Yeah, now it's a party. Wait a minute. I should probably correct that shit right now. Not going to. I don't want to send the wrong message to the children. You guys know alcohol's not what you're on when you watch a Seth MacFarlane thing. Alright, so Ted 2, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.